Hello everyone, my name's Mr. Woodbridge and I'm back again to read another story for you. Can you guess which story I'm going to be reading for you today? Here we go, here's a clue first of all. At last, one by one, the eggs cracked and popped 5 pretty little duckling heads, but the biggest egg of them all had not cracked, so rather impatiently the duck settled herself down again with a sigh to keep it warm. Now, is this book one of the Harry Potter books? Or do you think it might be The Ugly Duckling? Or do you think it's going to be Cinderella? Have a guess. And do you think you got the right answer? Yes, I think you have. The book today is going to be The Ugly Duckling. So, if you're all sitting comfortably, I shall begin when you're all ready. Here we go. The Ugly Duckling. A long time ago, in a field by a river, sat a duck patiently waiting for her eggs to hatch. At last, one by one, the eggs cracked and popped 5 pretty little duckling heads, followed by 5 pretty little duckling bodies. But the biggest egg of them all had not cracked. So rather impatiently, the duck settled herself down again with a sigh to keep it warm. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 1 makes 6 eggs. So remember that for a bit later and I'll test you out. She waited and waited and waited until at last the big egg cracked, and out came a very large and very ugly duckling head, followed by a big and even uglier duckling body, and even larger and very ugly duckling feet. The mother duck was horrified. "What kind of creature are you?" she asked. The next day, the mother duck took her children for a swim. With a quack, she jumped in, and one by one, and by one other one, the ducklings followed. And even the duckling, who, with his large feet, was a better swimmer than his brothers and sisters. The mother duck took them to meet the rest of the animals in the farmyard. The Spanish chicken, who was very important, ducked approvingly until she saw the duckling. "Oh dear me!" The turkey, who was the emperor of the farmyard, gobbled with pleasure, and he saw the ugly duckling. The ugly duckling was very sad. Everyone laughed at him. No one would talk to him. He desperately wanted to be handsome. He hated his feet, they were too big. He hated his feathers, they were so shabby. He hated his wings, they were too small. So one day he ran away. "I am too ugly to live in this farmyard," said the ugly duckling. He ran out of the farmyard and over the moors where the wild ducks lived, through the deep dark forest. He walked and walked and walked. Sometimes other animals attacked him. Sometimes they laughed at him. He was very lonely and frightened. Poor little duckling. Tired of travelling, the ugly duckling made his home by a lake, but when winter came, it began to freeze up. The hole in which the duckling was swimming got smaller and smaller, and smaller and smaller, until the duckling could no longer swim and froze fast in the ice. A farm worker walking past saw him. He broke the ice and carried him home to his family. Everyone was kind, but the duckling was frightened. He fluttered his wings and tried to fly away and knocked over a bowl of milk. The little boy tried to catch him, but he flew away and fell into a butter churn. He clambered out, only to fall straight into a barrel of oats. The kitchen was in chaos. The children were laughing, the mother screamed, and there were milk and oats all over the place. The terrified duckling saw an open door and ran out. He ran until he could go no further and then hid amongst the reeds. There he stayed for the rest of the winter. The winter turned to spring, and the duckling looked out of his hiding place to see 3 swans swimming on the lake. The swans saw him and swam over to him. He hung his head in shame. Why should such lovely birds be friends with him? As he did so, he saw their reflections in the water. But to his amazement, instead of 3 beautiful swans looking back at him, there were 4. The little bedraggled, ugly duckling, with nobody loved, had turned into the most handsome swan of them all. He was no longer the ugly duckling, and he was amongst friends at last. And that's the end. Hope you enjoyed the story. And that's called The Ugly Duckling. Now, to test whether you are listening and see how much you've learnt today, I've got 3 questions. So, get your thinking caps on, sit down with your grown-up, and here we go. So, see what you can work out. Question number 1. At the start of the story, there were some eggs that were laid, but can you remember how many eggs were laid? Have a good chat with your grown-ups. If you need to press pause, you can press pause now. Or if you've got an answer straight away. So if you're ready, I shall give you the answer. So there were 5 duckling eggs and 1 ugly duckling egg. So it makes 6 in total. But you can say 5 because there were 5 ducklings as well. So I'll let you have that one. Now, question number 2. Here's a good one for you. In the middle of the story, the ugly duckling made his home by a lake. But who found him as he walked past, and where did he carry him to? So who found the ugly duckling by the lake, and where did he take him to? Can you remember? Press pause if you need to. Or you can talk through to a grown-up if you know the answer. I think you have. Okay, the answer is a farm worker saw him, and the farm worker carried him home all the way to his family. So that was that one. And question number 3. Here we go. At the end of the story, can you remember what handsome animal the ugly duckling turned into? So what handsome animal did the ugly duckling turn into? If you need to press pause, you can do so now. Talk it through, and if you've got an answer, I shall give it to you right now. And the ugly duckling turned into a handsome swan at the very end of the story. So well done. Did you get them all right? Hopefully you got all 3 right. If you did, well done. And I hope you enjoyed the story. And hopefully I will be back again soon for another one. So in the meantime, take care, look after yourselves, and bye-bye for now. Bye-bye all. Bye.